All right, shalom, shalom. I would first start off by saying, call all Yahweh Shema, Shabbat Shema, Rakakadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. And I want to say shalom to the hopeful elect. All right, your brother Karat is out. Shalakia. I was watching this video on YouTube from the YouTube page Black Rail. All right, and I want to make a disclaimer. I don't own anything on this page. I'm just going to use it for informational purposes, what it is that they're about to speak on, okay? And it's called Herrenvolk Democracy. All right, Herrenvolk Democracy. And what they're going to say is this.
Presidential reconstruction, in which the president actively fought against rights for black.
This is after Abraham Lincoln was assassinated, all right? And we know Abraham Lincoln didn't free any slaves, okay? And they were going in as well as speaking on the Emancipation Proclamation and how it basically said that any well-bodied free slave could join the military to fight in the Civil War, all right? Or fight in the military, all right? And then he got assassinated. And Andrew Jackson became the president.
Johnson became the new president. Johnson's era is known as presidential reconstruction, in which the president actively fought against rights for blacks. Johnson believed in the idea of Herrenvolk Democracy, which meant that the least white man should be higher than the greatest black man.
The basest man is higher than you in this society, okay? The basest man is higher than you in the eyes of the government. The basest man is higher than you in the eyes of the people, okay? Even your own people, the basest man is better than you, all right?
The term Herrenvolk itself means master race. Scared white Southerners questioned their place within the social hierarchy of the South, and their fears grew as newly freed slaves were given more rights. In contrast to...
All right, so Herrenvolk Democracy is this. Herrenvolk Democracy is a system of government in which only the majority ethnic group participates in government, while minority groups are disenfranchised. Ethnocracy, in which one group dominates the state, is a related concept, okay? So you see in this image right here, which we're going to pull up in this document right here, and this Milwaukee Independent document. But first I want to read these scriptures. But this is just to show you, Jakes, that you're not equal in the eyes of the white man, all right? This is Deuteronomy 28:43. The stranger that is within thee shall get above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. And how has Esau come up very high? By his rhetoric, by his philosophies, by his wine, by his doctrine, the things that he's pushing in the media, okay, so on and so forth, by his lifestyle that he's pushing forth on his people to look at you as scum, okay, all right, his political game, all right, and all these other things that Esau has used as far as more is going to be said in an article, all right. It says, he shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. All right? And that's the truth. We are the tail of this society, and Esau Edom is the head. Okay? All right? So America's Herrenvolk Democracy is a social democracy for the white majority. All right? And that's true. All right, so Herrenvolk Democracy basically means social democracy for the favored race as a way of not expanding liberty to all citizens, but only to the accepted and group people like us as the white majority. All right, and that's what happens. All right, democracy is favored toward the people that are in rulership. All right, democracy is favored towards those that have their face on a dollar. Democracy is favored to Esau Edom, all right? Herrenvolk democracy is a crucial concept for understanding the potential. Okay, I got enough battery. It's understanding is a crucial concept for understanding the potential racial dimension of a demographic belonging to exclusion within belonging and exclusion within a political body, as well as inequalities of power, rights, and resources that follow. And Jake has been depleted of rights and power. All right, and there's been inequalities of power and rights and resources that's been put upon you, Jakes, man. All right, and just like the scripture said, we gonna be the tail and he's gonna be the head. Slovakia, coined by Pierre van den Brugge, if I said his name wrong, Slovakia. A Herrenvolk democracy is a political order that is democratic for the master race, but tyrannical for subordinate groups, all right, such as you Jakes, all right, you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native American Indians. It says there is equality, but only within the dominant racial group. Most importantly, the socio-political equality enjoyed with a dominant racial group is premised upon rather than in contradiction with inequality that sustains the order as a whole. The idea that this should be considered a real form of democracy at all may sound strange or appear hypocritical on its face, especially to contemporary citizens of liberal democracies. Well, this is a real form of democracy. Look what happens to you Jakes on a day-to-day basis. All right, it says the fierce international criticism of boycotts of the apartheid and the apartheid regime of South Africa, where whites were ruled and people of color were disenfranchised, segregated, and stripped of citizenship during the second half of the 20th century, exemplifies this sense of illegitimacy. Yet the apparent contradiction of Herrenvolk democracy is something that was fought for and achieved rather than being historically obvious to all. All right, so that happened to those people during the apartheid. All right, and it's happened to Jake since I'm gonna say since Esau Edom came over here to start taking over the land from Gad, and it's still happening unto this day. It says, consider the formerly racialized character of democracy in the United States from its inception to at least 1960s. Nope, until at least 2021 and beyond, until the Lord comes to destroy these people, man. All right, because we're always going to be under this man's foot. All right. Until the Lord comes, those who could successfully claim to possess whiteness as judged by those others than who already possessed it were able to access a slate of benefits. All right, so white people had better benefits or better advantages, all right, and have better advantages than you Jakes, man, unevenly along gender and class lines especially. All right, here goes their benefits, including voting rights, higher wages, two-tiered wage scales, minimal expectations of courtesy and status in public sphere, more lenient court sentencings, exclusive access to some jobs, privileged access to public services, informal first hire, last fire, employment insurance, privileged potential access to housing loans and capital, a sense of superiority over all non-whites, and most importantly, before the Civil War, the right to avoid enslavement. Those who were judged to be non-white were denied and given restricted access to economic, political, cultural, and psychological wages that came with whiteness, while certainly also being inflicted by gendered and class divisions, the color line between the white world and the dark world that W.E.B. Du Bois described was the foundational principle of inclusion in or exclusion from the power, resources, and privileges of the democratic order. However else they may be inequitably distributed. Salakia. As Joel Osteen argues, whiteness was an essential characteristic of defining full American citizenship as such. All right, it's a lengthy article, but that's what I wanted to read in it. All right, you will always be the tail in America, man. Okay, you'll never be the head. But there's going to be a day that comes that things are going to flip-flop. I know it's in the Gospels. Let me do this the first. All right, this is Matthew 19 and 30. But many that are first shall be last, and the last shall be first. So we're going to be first, man, in the kingdom. All right, we're in captivity right now, so we're going to be last, okay? And it's greater or better to be greater in the kingdom of the Most High, Yahweh Shema Shai, than to be greater in the kingdom of men, all right? I'll read this in the NLT, and then I'm going to close out. But many who are the greatest now will be least important then, when it's then in the kingdom. And those who seem least important now would be the greatest thing. All right, we're going to be the greatest in the kingdom, man. So Lord will keep your head up and keep praising Yahweh Shema Shai to the best of your ability. Kwame Yashiralam, Mawaf Shalom.